with the disgraceful Jeffrey Epstein need to end today.
Well, a surprise statement, resolute, a bit angry, certainly stern, from Melania Trump. FLOTUS walks into the room there and lays it out. She's had enough. It needs to stop today. That yesterday, as we continue to watch the ceasefire that is fragile, Israel versus Lebanon still going on. But this was big news. Welcome into Wake Up Missouri. I'm Randy Tobler. And, John, this is something else, man.
It was weird. It had me thinking initially after I watched it that what were the opponents of the president and first lady getting ready to drop on the media?
Exactly, and that's what many are saying when they're asking the why question, what's going to happen. There's the pictures that have been floating around with she and Donald and Epstein and Maxwell, in a picture, 4 people hanging out at a party. Obviously, as she said, a lot of the folks hung around in the same circles. But she's had it.
I never had a relationship with Epstein or his accomplice, Maxwell. My email reply to Maxwell cannot be categorized as anything more than casual correspondence.
I was just thinking to myself, like, if I was at a party, a college party, and Bill Self was there, that doesn't make me a Jayhawk fan, does it?
Yep.
I feel like that's the best way to get through to people here.
Absolutely. There was this email thread, and again, this is what I think is the fallout from just recklessly releasing, and Congress should... I'm going to stand by my statement. Congress should be circumspect about what this does to people when you release every communication, every text, every email between a convicted, heinous criminal and anyone that has ever been in their presence or communicated with them as a result of being in their presence. Maxwell and Melania had this exchange, this email exchange that was in the released files. Said, "Dear GI, how are you? Nice story about J.E., that's Epstein, in New York Mag. You look great on the picture. I know you were very busy flying all over the world." This is from Melania to Maxwell. "How was Palm Beach? I cannot wait to go down. Give me a call when you're back. Have a great time. Love, Melania." Maxwell responded, "Sweet Pea, thanks for your message. Actually, plans changed again. I am now on my way back to New York, so I still do not think I have time to see you, sadly. I'll try and call, though." I mean, it was a bunch of niceties that happened, and this was the time, I don't know the time stamp on this, but before, this was a 2002 email chain, 2002, before Epstein was convicted the first time in 2008 or 9. And, apparently there's, just a lot of stuff going on in the media and the social media about her. And Stephanie, I don't know how you feel about this, but I think to catch someone up in a net of incrimination and speculation just because they were at social gatherings before anyone's ever convicted, which makes it even more, I think, unscrupulous on the part of the media and others who are trying to go after her. I think she just finally said enough.
Yeah, she wanted to speak for herself and not I think that's fair. I think about myself and it's like, how many people a day am I emailing with?
Yeah.
Like a lot. And, I'm not BFFs with all of them. I me, my emails aren't that nice or like flowery. But like between my emails and my texts, I mean, most people are, sending hundreds of emails, dozens of texts a day. And yeah, I mean, and I don't know everyone that I email and text with intimately, right? Like I know, I maybe I met them once. I'm not going to be rude, right? Maybe I met them a couple of times. I don't know what they do in their off time.
Well, maybe they were great friends, but before you're a criminal or charged as being a criminal, big news. You're not a criminal or charged with being a criminal. How would Melania Trump know what was going? What would she be expected to know?
And as many times as we've heard, like, I don't know, especially when you get into like school shootings and stuff like that, they're always like, well, that was a really weird kid. we've heard this same or more times where husband kills the wife and they're like, they were the perfect couple. He was the nicest guy. He, came over and asked me for a cup
They
of
were
milk.
so quiet.
Yeah, like, so, and these are people, like, oftentimes you hear that from someone's neighbor, right? And you would think, like, if something weird was going on or if this person was messed up, their neighbor would have noticed something weird. And half the time they're like, he mowed the grass for the old lady down the street. He was perfectly nice. He never raised his voice. And then, it turns out he, like, brutally murdered someone. So it's hard to impute, like, bad, like, the knowledge that we know now. I mean, hindsight's 2020, right? Like, it's hard to impute that to every person they interacted with.
I am not Epstein's victim. Epstein did not introduce me to Donald Trump. I met my husband by chance at a New York City party in 1998.
Now, later on in that statement, she said she wants to have a congressional hearing with open testimony from the victims. I don't know. I just, I think, where have the prosecutions been? If there are prosecutable offenses, let's get them prosecuted. I don't know where this thing goes, but boy,
It just seemed to come out of left field, though.
Yeah. Yeah, you wonder if there's some new allegation that's going to break soon. And she's getting ahead of it. Not sure. 573-874-9390. Well, it's a Feel Good Friday. Not that feels good, but it's certainly interesting. And interesting feels good. That's what we do, is talk about fun and interesting stuff here on the program. If you have some feel good stuff you want to talk about, please let us know. Text us at 573-874-9390. If you'd like to call on the telephone, that's 800-529-5572. And we're going to talk with Eben Brown later to get an update. Right? Were you able to get in touch with Eben, Drake? We're going to talk with Eben about an update on Iran.
Yes.
Yeah.
Would I ever lie to you about a booking?
No, I just wasn't sure if you. I know you were trying to get him, and we were working on it.
No,
so, and I wasn't sure if we were going to be talking
a little
about
bit of inside baseball for the listeners.
I wasn't sure if he was going to talk about the color he's going to paint his kitchen this weekend, or Iran.
Randy rolls in casually at like 6:04, 3 minutes before.
Randy's been here since almost 5:30.
He strolls into the studio at 6:04. And he says something along the lines of, hey, if you could get a Fox guest, that'd be great. And I cut him off and say, I have Eben Brown for 8 o'clock.
Yeah, well, it came through for once. That's good. That's nice.
Hey, the NASA, I'm going to beat your butt. I'm going to beat your butt.
No, you do a great job of getting, it's when something is top news like this, often it's very difficult. We're very lucky to be getting some of these great Fox News, Fox Radio folks on, because that's tough. But I guess I think they have fun with our team when we talk with them. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And we're going to have fun with you in KWTO land. Hey, if no matter where you're from, even if you listen to us in mid-Missouri, if you're wherever, if you stream us, come down to the Politics and Pints event on May 6th. Eric Erickson, you know him. He holds forth, of course, on afternoons on KWTO. But come down. You have to register, so you can do that through the app or on 933kwto.com. But it'll all start May 6th. That's a Wednesday evening, 5:30, at the radio station on Chestnut Expressway, just west of the of 65 there. Great studio. It's a beautiful studio. And you'll get to hang out with us, have some great appetizers, a cash bar with, beer, wine, soft drinks. And it'll be fun. So we'll have a lot of fun talking about the topics of the day with Eric Erickson and all of the gang. Make sure you do it.
He headlined a lunch several years ago for our Republican National Lawyers Association, and it was a great time.
Yeah, he's great. So Angela says, didn't Trump build up the release of the files, and so the voters wanted all of this? Or am I remembering wrong? I thought their announcement was weird timing. Yeah. She's tired of being a victim. Yeah, I remember the Melania blink for help signs. No, I know Trump campaigned on it, and I know the voters wanted this, but I just ask you, if you had written some emails to someone who ends up being a pedophile or a sex trafficker or a cartel facilitator, and you knew nothing about it. You were at parties, maybe you enjoyed the same food, maybe a picture was snapped of you, maybe you even got to know them because you're in a business, they're in a business, you knew nothing about what they were doing, and then it comes out that they were doing that, but you had some very nice email exchanges.
How many people in Missouri have an email exchange or a photo with Eric Greitens?
Yeah. And, I think we ought to release, and I would just maintain.
John raises his hand.
So John
Me.
raised his hand. So John, if we were to release all of the investigatory files, and there's a couple email exchanges, and maybe someone's got an axe to grind about John. Maybe someone wants John's job.
Yeah, why was he in touch with Eric Greitens after the fact when he'd stepped down and all?
I mean,
we're putting him on the radio even after the fact.
Yeah, I mean, I just ask you, put yourself in the position of someone who was very innocently in the orbit of maybe doing business with someone. You knew nothing about what was going on. And then suddenly your name is out there. And I'm not saying they're not people that should be guilty, but I just, I thought this country protected the innocent. How does it protect the innocent when raw investigatory files full of all kinds of allegations by seedy people who throw out other people's names to try to, you can count on people that are either accomplices or, what do they call it? Unindicted co-conspirators to begin pointing fingers. Oh, hey, Stephanie. Oh, I saw Stephanie with that person. I don't know. You better take a look. Next thing you know, Stephanie's name comes up in something. The investigators look at it. There's nothing there. But maybe someone's got an axe to grind against Stephanie. Next thing you know, if all of that was always released, I think we ought to just say that's the new blanket policy in America. Anytime there's any investigation,
I think what you're saying is it shouldn't be the policy.
Huh?
I think what you're saying is it shouldn't be the policy.
No, I'm arguing the absurd to make a point. And I think you're right. It shouldn't be the policy. And Congress should have thought this through. Congress is not the executive. They're not the executive branch and the Department of Justice. But that's just my feeling. All right. 573-874-9390. Daily DC Rundown coming up.
It's Wake Up Missouri.
Jeremy, the crew of Artemis 2 will come home. They will have traveled 400,000 miles. They will have seen what no living person has seen. They will have tested every system on the spacecraft and the environment it was built for. And they will have given us 10 days of data that will shape every mission that comes after.
Well, there's a little bit rundown what will happen today. Here's Stephanie Bell with the Daily DC Rundown.
They are coming in hot. They are coming in at 25,000 miles per hour, and then they're going to slow down to about 17 miles per hour. You know, I think they identified early on an issue with the heat shield. I guess they've changed the angle at which they're going to re-enter to try to make it faster, so that way, you know, it'll mitigate the concerns about their return. But, everything has to go exactly right.
The Orion spacecraft will enter the Earth's atmosphere at approximately 25,000 miles per hour. That heat shield, the thermal protection system, which is built by American hands in American factories for materials designed to withstand temperatures that approach the surface of the sun, will bear the full force of that reentry.
Surface of the sun. Oh, man.
Can you imagine that?
5,000 degrees.
That is, and I guess they're going to lose during a portion of that. I think there's like 6 minutes where they're unable to talk to mission control. Certainly, they've got some work to do. Apparently, they've got a lot of data on there, a lot of good stuff that we haven't even seen yet. They're also going to have to figure out what's up with the toilet before they launch Artemis 3. But we're certainly sending our well wishes to our folks who will be returning today, and I'm hoping to tune into that later. We are finding out that the Democrats are split over Israel at a major DNC meeting. They met in New Orleans. Democrats rejected a resolution targeting AIPAC and others that were concerning policy on Israel. Instead, they passed a kind of a broad resolution against dark money in politics without calling out any specific groups. Of course, Rashida Tlaib is calling it shameful, and others are arguing that targeting AIPAC would divide the party. So the Democrats continue to be in disarray. Trump continues to be in court. His new 10% global tariff plan is being challenged by states and small businesses. And that case gets heard today before a 3-judge panel. Of those 3 judges, 2 were appointed by President Obama, 1 by George W. Bush. But of course, after the court's decision on the broad tariffs, Trump has turned to Section 122 of the Trade Act of 1974. This is the one that allows the president to implement tariffs up to 15% for 150 days. So how much tariff authority does the president have? We might find out very soon. Okay. Also, we talked already about Melania yesterday, kind of surprisingly responding to the Epstein claims. She says essentially that it was just a trivial note, that she never visited the island, that she never flew on the plane. But interesting timing and kind of surprising for a lot of people who have been following that issue closely. At the same time, the Democrats are targeting Trump. They say 70 Democrats are now calling for Trump to be removed from office using the 25th Amendment. That's a lot of posturing, I think, ahead of the midterms, because what we know is, it's not going to be successful, but Democrats need some talking points, and now that's what they're on. They're talking about, mainly this time it's targeted in relation to his actions related to the war. Also, in sports news, the Department of Justice is investigating the NFL's TV deals over anti-competitive practices. Lawmakers have concerns that now you have to have cable streaming, other things, and they're wondering, does this violate any sort of antitrust laws? The folks are saying that the laws are outdated now that we have streaming services.
Yeah, I think technology is really standing that on its head, isn't it? When we come back, we'll talk about Mike Lee and the Dignidad Act.
Has America been fair to Donald Trump?
amnesty is still amnesty, even if you call it dignity, and even if you make people pay a fine. So look, if you want to push amnesty, go right ahead. I strongly disagree with that. But don't tell us that it's not amnesty, because that's exactly what it is.
What is Senator Mike Lee talking about? Welcome back into Wake Up Missouri on this Feel Good Friday. I feel good about exposing things that are floated in Congress that explains to you just how lost D.C. is. And with a few exceptions, like Senator Eric Schmidt and from time to time Senator Hawley, and many of our representatives from Missouri, I think Mark Alford, Bob Onder are in that crew, they are lost. They're talking about this Dignidad Act. Have you heard about this? This is an act floated by Republican Representative Maria Salazar. And it stands for Dignity for Immigrants While Guarding Our Nation to Ignite and Deliver the American Dream Act, or Dignidad. The Dignity Act, they're saying. I guess Dignidad in Spanish is dignity. I don't know. Who speaks Spanish here? You speak Spanish?
I used to.
And our friend Art Arthur from the Center for Immigration Studies just tore this apart. He says it's just a messaging bill, but it's really not meant to pass. It's a messaging bill intended to make a point. And the point is to basically pander to special interests that want cheap labor and want to give. This would be sort of like a recurring temporary legal status every 6 years, I believe. Yeah. And to people who were illegally here. So it's amnesty, isn't it? It's under the section, and listen to this, under one of the sections of the bill, no applicant who, quote, appears to be prima facie eligible for status can be removed until a final determination is made on the application, including those who have already been ordered removed. So this is someone who's already, they came here illegally, they've been adjudicated by an immigration judge for removal and deportation. But under this act, it would give them, basically carve them out and give them worker status. So this is unbelievable. This is a Republican representative. Well, here's what Representative Brandon Gill from Texas says.
Of course, you know, the people...
Because the argument is these people are living in fear. They're living in the shadows. It could generate money if we stop the under-the-cover, black economy they have that, doesn't allow them to, everything's in cash and they're not taxed. But they're living in the shadows. They live in fear. Salazar sounds like Mike Lawler from New York was on with Laura Ingraham the other night. They sound like progressive Democrats. Might as well be Mayorkas. The borders are closed.
People who are actually living in fear are the Americans who are sending their kids to schools that are flooded by fentanyl because of our open borders and because of what illegal aliens have done. The people who are living in fear are the Americans who can't put food on the table because their wages have been suppressed because of illegal aliens who are in this country or who have lost their jobs altogether. And those are the people that we ought to be looking out for. Those are the Americans that we represent. We don't represent illegal aliens. We represent American citizens. Those are the people whose interests we should be pursuing, not amnesty bills like this. Illegal aliens are not in the shadows. They're right out in the open. They're transforming our communities, tearing our social fabric.
What do you make of this? Why are Republican representatives backing this bill? 573-874-9390. Now, maybe in the agriculture, I don't think in Midwestern agriculture, in cattle country, in, crop farming, I don't know, John, Stephanie, is there a big hue and cry for labor? Is there a lack of labor? And do we need to be bringing people from wherever, Mexico, across the border, to provide labor because we don't have enough people to work the fields, work the pastures? Where am I amiss here? And we have a 4.4%. Now, I think it went down to 4.3 last month. We have a 4.3% with only a 63% labor participation rate, by the way. That assumes that many people, so we're assuming that people can't work who actually can. Why do we need illegal workers? Someone explain to me why this is the case. I don't understand it.
No, they've had the challenges with undocumented immigrants in the ag, circle in Missouri. I know some of the challenges they've had at some of the down in Southwest Missouri at some of the meat packing plants where they've had to deal with, come in with raids and take out the illegals, and that's been a statewide thing. So it's a challenge.
I don't know. Is that why Mexican food's so cheap?
Could be.
Well, there's been some raids on these places, right? I hope in Kirksville they shut them down a few years ago. Big place up there. I'm sure there's legitimate places, but, Drake, aren't there people in your sphere of influence that if they needed some extra money, could go pick up some money during harvest time? I mean, you talked about Herman and the brewery there, right? Or brewery or distillery over there?
It's a distillery. No, it's not. It's a winery. My bad.
Well, winery. Okay. Well, there's times when they need to harvest the grapes out here at La Bourgeois, right? They need to harvest the grapes. Why can't college people, the kids go out and paint, don't they? Remember the college painting guys,
Well, there's a lot of things. One, there's always farmers markets and people that are always needing help for that. You can get a quick $50 doing that for a couple hours. And nowadays it's easier than ever to just go and make a little bit of money with like Uber driving, Uber like delivering food and all that kind of stuff. It's not hard to make a little bit of extra change if you have like $2 in your bank account.
Yeah, right, when you factor out of the workforce people who they've stopped looking, they've put in 1,000 applications to what's the recruiting place, Stephanie? I don't know. Whatever, the recruiting. Well, go get a job. Go work the fields. There's nothing wrong with a little hard work. Why do we need to have illegals here?
Because their country is good enough that you can't, trash talk it on air, but they're bad enough that you don't want to send them back. That's the liberal mindset, right? And they vote in elections. That's the big thing. But
well, at least, in many places in local elections, right? They can.
Yeah.
Which is why we need the Save America Act.
And there's a market out there, unfortunately, on the illegal worker side. There's people out there who'll pay them $10 an hour or whatever to do a job off the economy.
Yeah, who is it? The little guy from New York and Nancy who will pick our grapes? Who will get our lettuce? Well, how about some pimple-faced kid that can't work McDonald's anymore because they got kiosks? I don't know. Who was it? We talked to a guy yesterday. He's lost 100 pounds or whatever because he says he sweeps the floors, runs the floor buffer all the time. Well, there you go. We have people in the office all the time when they're just doing as part of their regular chores, around the farm. They've got a hobby farm or more, farm, and they're working, lifting. I put them on the body composition analysis machine, and I'm like, wow, dude, you got a lot of muscle. And you're not working out? No, I don't go to the gym. I feed the goats, I feed the cattle, I do this, I do that, I do that.
How many farmers do you know that have a gym membership? Not many.
And look at how buff they are.
Hard work,
Yeah. Fertility rate would go up then. We need to talk about the fertility rate.
Talk about your Feel Good Friday, yeah?
Oh, my God.
It is Friday, after all. I don't know. Yeah, it's a 7-year program for long-term undocumented immigrants, allowing them to live and work legally. They must pass background checks and pay restitution, which funds the program. How do you do a background check? So I'm a background checker from the government, and you've been here for 12 years. I think I'll do an in-depth investigation and go back to go to Colombia. I'll take a trip to Colombia and do some background checking on you. What? How about go out the back door, and if you want to come in the front door, again, do it right. We all pay our taxes here in another week. Oh, boy. That doesn't feel good. Why did I mention that?
Thanks.
Oh, man, I had to go mention that.
Happy Feel Good Friday, all
There
listeners.
you go.
Well, I've got some news coming up on the Make Missouri Healthy Again that I hope will encourage everyone to get married. I'll explain when we come back on Make Missouri Healthy Again. Stay tuned.
It's Wake Up.
You know, often when we talk about health, we try to find common things that you can do, or in some cases not do, that have like widespread impact, right? You want to try.
It feels like a lot of not doing.
No, but a lot of times, you know, hey, if you do this, you can reduce your risk of that and this and that. So I got to thinking about a story you told me about here that was, you know, felt sort of bad. I mean, fertility rates are down.
By a lot. It dropped to a record low in 2025.
Now, does that mean that we're not having babies as much, or we're not as fertile? It just means we're not having babies as much, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's different than the fertility rate. That means we're not trying to have babies, right?
Women are delaying or opting out of having children because of economic concerns, career priorities, rising costs, lifestyle shifts.
Well, if we agree that that's a problem, because if we don't have replacement, then we need to justify more illegals, and then we have more people killing women in gas stations with hammers.
All right, it is a feel-good Friday, so it's not that
Okay.
dark. But fewer births can slow economic growth, shrink the workforce, and reduce demand over time. So it is a serious.
So you want to solve that problem?
Consequences.
Okay. People aren't getting married as much. They're not. Marriage rates are down. So I would say get married. Well, there's another reason to get married. It might reduce your risk of getting cancer. Now, we're not sure. There's an association does not causation make, okay, necessarily. But there's a pretty interesting study that looked at cancer rates among people that were either currently married or even those who had been married and were divorced. So they got to sort that out a little bit. But they looked at more than 4 million cancer cases over a population of 100 million people in 12 states between 2015 and 2022. So it's a pretty broad study. They looked at adults aged 30 and older, and the participants fell into two camps: those who were or had been married, and those who never said, "I do." About 1 in 5 adults in the study had never been married. And they found that that group faced substantially higher rates of developing cancer. Now, it's true that some of this may be related to the not married and what does it mean when you're not married, a behavioral difference. If you're not married, you may be out, having more relationships, which means more exposure to certain things. For instance, cervical cancer in women, higher rates, because that's largely, almost exclusively caused by a virus called HPV. By the way, you can get a vaccine for that, guys and gals. But also maybe smoking, heavy drinking, maybe would accompany not being married because you're out more, you're dating, you're out and around doing. Drake, what do you say about this study?
I wasn't listening to a word. We had a caller. Sorry.
Not being married raises cancer rates.
How?
Well, they're speculating that it may have, like, for instance, women who had never wed, either were divorced, either had never been married and divorced, or were married, but women who were not in that category, never been married and divorced, face nearly triple the rate of cervical cancer. That means they probably had more intimacy with different partners, so they had more chance to get infected with HPV.
I'm trying to think of a way to talk about this without getting thrown off the air.
Married women, and here's another.
Careful.
Married women often have more children, and we know that having children, especially women, ladies, if you have a child before age 30, it's protective against things like ovarian cancer, breast cancer, endometrial cancer.
Why?
Well, probably because it interrupts changes in your hormones. So there you go. Never married men were 70% more likely to develop cancer than married men, while never married women had an 85% higher risk. So women especially have some protections by getting married. So all of those, Drake's number here at the studio is 573-874-9390 if you want to get married and be protected from cancer. I'm just trying to help you, Drake. I'm just trying to help you.
And be a bird foster mom to boot.
There you go.
Just
Up
add the
next,
link
I'm
to
calling
this.
Gary Nolan to fill in for the rest of the show, Randy. You're
Yeah.
sitting in timeout.
It
You
makes
can
me
add this article in your dating profile. Marry me and lower your rate of cancer.
Yeah, there you go.
Well, my thought
that?
about the guys having cancer, I think that's not like that's only because the wife will tell you to go to the doctor. Single men do not go to the doctor ever. So, I mean, that's why.
You know, that's actually a very, very insightful point.
Yeah, I'm not all, dumb back here.
They said that previous studies have showed that married people tend to get diagnosed earlier and have better survival rates as well once they do get diagnosed with cancer. If you're not married, you should be, though, taking responsibility for paying extra attention to cancer risk factors, getting those screenings, staying up to date on health care. I know in a lot of cases, we have a lot of guys that are dragged in literally almost by their ear, like by their wives saying, sit down, Buster. You haven't seen a doctor in 20 years. It's time you get a checkup. And boy, we unearthed some interesting things. So it's good.
Don't listen to Randy, listeners. I mean, go out there. You only live once. Smoke that Camel. I mean, smoke whatever you want. Do whatever you want. You only live once. That's what I say. Screw it. I mean, Randy, I don't know what I'm trying to say here. Just smoke more. That's what I'm trying to say.
I think
that'd be Camel Straights or Camel Filters.
I think for us,
Camel Straights, of course, John.
I think for us guys, it is probably true that the gals are they're looking over us. They're our conscience when it comes to these kind of things.
You're welcome.
Yeah, there you go. All right. Well, when we come back, there'll be more Wake Up Missouri. We have a text offering here for Feel Good. Give us yours, 573-874-9390.
to go through the Strait of Hormuz. That is not the agreement we have. With just 8 vessels reportedly passing through the strait in the first 48 hours of the ceasefire, a statement was released via state media from Iran's new supreme leader saying, quote, and certainly we are entering a new era with management of the Strait of Hormuz. We did not and do not seek war, but we will not give up our rightful rights in any way. And for this, we consider all the fronts of resistance as one. The region is waiting to see the outcome.
Wow. Trey Yinks reporting on the uncertainty of, the deceitful nature of the Iranian response to this ceasefire. Negotiations supposed to occur this weekend, I guess, over in Pakistan. It's a confusing situation over there. Israel and Lebanon going at it. Well, mainly Israel going at it after Lebanon. Iran saying that was part of the agreement, and we think you, the West, Israel and the United States, are in breach of the agreement because we thought that hostilities against Lebanon were going to stop. Netanyahu says, no, that wasn't part of it. Yesterday we played the clip where J.D. Vance says, well, I guess there's confusion. I'm Randy Tobler, Stephanie Bell alongside on this Feel Good Friday, John Marsh and Drake Whitman. Don't know what's going on over there. I keep waiting for us to have breaking news that Trump has just unleashed hell and fury on the installations that he warned about, and they put human shields around. Unannounced, just let it happen. Wouldn't that be nice, John? Would you like to see that?
I would say you're probably closer to being on the money than you might imagine. I would say this fragile ceasefire isn't going to go 2 weeks.
And I think this time he will not telegraph what he's going to do. If he were to ask me, that's what I would advise him. I don't expect him to ask me. But I've talked to a few military people that in my orbit who think that would be a good plan. I think people get a little dismayed that unlike a private company stuff where you're the boss and people march when you say march, like, Trump Inc., it's a little different, right? In geopolitical matters, you probably can't assume that the rest of the world's going to march and, bow to your commands and bend a knee.
You can't assume, though. I mean, I think we thought we could assume that since we're always bailing everyone out and we're helping everyone and we're spending our money, that at least they're not going to impede us.
Yeah.
When we're, I mean, I don't expect them to jump right in or to lead the charge, but sheesh. It's not exactly what I expected from some of our allies.
I don't know. As I've said, I'm a second-class citizen because I've never served in the military. I mean that. But everything I've ever heard, John, from military folks is you don't announce what you're going to do. You just do it. And I think this continued threat to, the latest one, destroy the infrastructure, that are dual purpose. They're civilian and military, power plants, bridges. Obviously that was the art of the deal kind of stuff, but the art of the deal, does that always apply in matters of war and conflict? I don't know.
It's Donald Trump's style, and I'm sure there's been folks in the military community who are like, boy, he's sure putting a lot on the line here as opposed to just going after it.
573-874-9390. Hey, a shout out to Paul's son. Listener Paul is feeling pretty good on this Feel Good Friday because that documentary that we've heard about before on the Oklahoma City bombing that his son Danny did has been nominated for an Emmy Award.
Oh, wow.
That's pretty cool, huh? Very, very nice. Congratulations, Paul. You should take some vicarious pleasure out of that. That's very, very nice. Melissa says, if you're feeling good on this Friday, if you're feeling free Sunday, the Como Preservation is unveiling the most current project, says Melissa, at Winsome on Broadway. Huh. What is that all about? We'll have to learn about that. Como Preservation. Como Brick and Mortar Project. Uh-oh, do I need to wear my old holy jeans and paint shirt? Everyone's got a paint shirt, right? You got a paint shirt, John?
I have a
Pretty
paint
much,
shirt,
Got a paint shirt?
and paint
Yeah.
pants.
Yeah.
I love them. They're
And paint shoes and paint makeup.
Oh,
and-
I do have paint shoes. I have a pair of Crocs that
Paintball
are
cap.
covered in paint.
Those are some of the best clothes, aren't they?
Oh, they're
just wonderful.
so comfy, and it's just like it's like a history. It has
Yeah.
all the colors that I've ever painted,
And you don't have to.
everywhere.
You don't have to worry about it. I mean, it feels good just to not to worry if you splatter something. You know. I
Well,
hate. Huh?
I'm still kind of a perfectionist, so
Oh.
I don't like to splatter my paint everywhere.
I
But-
hate that. You know, I like to wear a tie to the office. You know, so I've got it on here. And I hate that when, like, it happened the other day. Sammy and I got some, I don't know, a bento box from the Quick Way place. And, you know, that sometimes that oil they use in the Chinese stuff, it splattered on my tie. Now when I got a little oil on the tie. You
Yeah.
try to get oil off a tie, it's impossible.
Like a silk tie, it's
No.
directly in the trash. I
And
don't
no-
think you can do it.
I wonder if Tiger Cleaners or Robinson, can anyone around here do a good tie dry cleaning?
Boys will be boys. I'm telling you.
What? What do you mean?
No, I'm you triggered me because
okay. I'm
I
ready.
went and spent a bunch of money because for Easter I gave the kids like some new summer clothes or whatever. Got the cutest Mizzou shirt for Drew, right? Cutest shirt.
Yeah.
Goes to school, comes home. It's got a giant hole, first wear, right in the front of it. And I was walking by my friend and like something about a pencil and the pencil poked through my shirt. And I'm like, well, you had that shirt for 12 hours and it was like $30.
Ooh.
I don't know how you know, on a jean, we can get grandma to put like a weird patch on it. I don't know how you patch you can't patch a t-shirt. I'm like, okay, I'm going to cut it off and you're going to have to wear a crop top, I guess. I'm
I hear
so
you.
mad.
Especially what's new.
So what you're
Assign
telling
him
me
some
is whether
painting duties or something.
whether you're 14 or whether you're much older than 14, you still can't take care of your clothes, Randy?
Well, I'm still grappling with a
guy.
mystery. Within the last 6 months, I can't understand. I have had nice dress shirts that I love wearing, nice dress shirts. Below the elbow, there's a horizontal rip in the.
I've seen that before, yeah.
You saw that on my shirt.
They just don't make things like they used to.
And I didn't realize that. You should have pointed that out to me because I didn't realize it. And all of a sudden, Helene goes like, "Did you know there was a rip in your shirt?" I didn't know.
You should really not wear a dress shirt to the gym, Randy.
But they're in the same place. Why would this happen? It's a mystery to me. It's a mystery.
Good luck.
I don't know. 573-874-9390. If anyone knows how to get a little bit of an oil stain off of a nice tie.
Like you said, the dry cleaners.
Yeah, don't they say like Dawn dish soap works sometimes on oil stains?
Part of the problem is the backing inside of a tie, though, that keeps
Yeah.
it around the edges, that keeps it flat. That gets disconnected, and then the tie starts curling up on the edge, and it ruins a beautiful tie. I hate that. I don't know.
I hate that.
I know
too.
what you're saying. Just don't wear ties.
What do you think
Randy.
about women in ties? My mom, I got a tie
Sharp
from my,
looking.
I thought so too.
Sharp looking.
I have this really fun 80s, like it's kind of like nautical tie, and
Yeah.
I've been too, I don't know, too nervous to wear it yet, but I'm
it's
gonna wear it.
It's a
one
sharp
time.
look. What was the Woody Allen Annie Hall? Wasn't it?
Yeah, yeah,
Remember?
yeah.
Didn't
Mhm.
Diane Keaton wear a tie in that and sort of a cute look?
The thing that's coming back is like the neck scarves, like little scarf. You know,
Oh.
I think those are really classy. I have a whole bunch now, and I don't wear them as much as I should. But this is like an actual tie. I'm gonna have someone tie it for me.
I think didn't Rush Limbaugh's wife who did the ties? I love my Rush Limbaugh ties. I've got a bunch of those.
You do?
I should start wearing those.
You should.
But didn't she have a bunch of scarves? I think one of his wives that was responsible for that. They're nice. I love a scarf on a wife. Yeah.
Yeah.
On a woman. It's great. Or on a wife. Doesn't matter. Honey, that was a subliminal message, Helene.
That's it.
No, I love that. Just like I like hats. I didn't see any Easter bonnets this year.
Ooh, I'm getting excited because the Derby's coming up, and I bought a really cute Derby hat last year. I love a fun hat. I don't think my headphones will fit over it, so I don't think I can wear it.
Derek
in the studio.
says, I intentionally don't wear white shirts because they will get stained. True. Oh, by the way, we've had some funny text on the 573-874-9390 text line. When we were talking about marriage protecting against cancer, we had a couple of dandies. Where was that? Gary says, it may reduce cancer rates, but it damn sure increases blood pressure and heart attacks.
Oh,
Oh,
Well, now, Gary.
Yeah, Gary, where are you sleeping tonight? Oh, Brett says, I don't know, Doc. Marriage is punishment for shoplifting in some countries.
Wow.
Oh, wow. Brutal. Oh, man. Oh, boy. It's caused by your high blood pressure from this show. Swells the arms and rips the sleeves. Evan explains why
why your shirts are ripping off.
Just you'd think I'd pop a button on the neck, right?
All those steroids, I guess, for the gym, right?
Oh, Ashley says, I'm told cornstarch works for oil spots on clothes. Rub it in and wash.
Just be really careful.
And if it doesn't work, throw it in the fryer.
I had like a lip gloss or some sort of oil get on a bag, and I thought I would get it, and I used something I shouldn't have, and it,
Ruined it. Yeah.
And yeah, if you try to find someone who repairs leather these days, I mean, talk about people who work with their hands, and I have a good tailor and there's some good tailors in Columbia and in Jefferson City, but finding someone who will resole shoes or repair leather is really difficult.
There is an old-fashioned shoe place in Columbia, Speaking of things like that, so I have this little buckle on my leather bag that I bring in my satchel, my little brief leather thing.
Marsh.
And there's a tongue that has my band purse that has a clasp, that goes into a little clip, right? Mm-hmm. And it's held onto the leather by two little tiny screws. Mm-hmm. Well, one of them came off, and the clip came off. So where do you get little micro screws?
Go see your tailor. I had a belt on a dress that had a metal piece that came off, and they've got all sorts of weird doodads and little fasteners and stuff. A nice tailor.
A tailor might.
Yeah, they have all sorts of weird clasps and doodads, and they might have something that can help you. I would go see a nice tailor.
Wow. Maybe is there a Swift tailor around somewhere? Could fix me up quickly?
Yeah, I'm sure.
I don't know. We'll have to find out. Hey, let's come back and talk about some seriously ill progressives, because it's time to mow your lawn. And if you mow your lawn, and if you like a nice lawn, she says you have a problem.
It's Wake Up.
My immigrant parents don't speak English and they're currently in the hospital right now in LA. The doctor didn't speak Spanish, so they needed someone to translate, and at the hospital didn't have any translators, so my parents decided to just call me so I can talk to the doctor for them. Once the doctor was done explaining to me what they were going to do to my mom, she decided to give me a comment and say, "You should really teach your parents some English so they can learn how to talk in the hospital and communicate and stuff." I don't know, but considering that everything's going on with the political climate, maybe I'm just reaching. But, Spanish is the secondly most common language.
So we'll get to the mowing your grass story in a second, but this is another clip out of Libs of TikTok. This woman's demanding that Los Angeles hospitals need to do better because her immigrant parents don't speak English and can't find a translator. Now, if that facility accepts federal funds of any type, Medicare or Medicaid, they're mandated to provide free of charge a translator, an interpreter. Can't use the family except in life-threatening emergencies. You wonder why your health care costs a lot? This is a service that people have to provide. I remember times when I ran the hospital that we had to, a hospital, people would show up from the Congolese over in west of us a little bit, and others, Vietnamese sometimes, and they'd show up. And if they would have an appointment, so you'd schedule a translator, pay for all that, and then they wouldn't show, but you had to bear the cost. And these people just have expectations that, well, you're supposed to do that. And I don't know why you can't use a relative for a translator. I guess the thought is they may nefariously tell you to pull the plug on their parent and mistranslate. I don't know.
Better not have me translating for you, Randy.
I won't do that. Do you think that we, the taxpayers, or you, the insurance premium payer, healthcare payer, should pay for free translation services to be provided to people who don't speak English when they show up at the hospital? And they are not to be billed for it. They have no responsibility. It's all on you indirectly because that becomes part of the cost of this is a private practice, anyone who accepts Medicare or Medicaid. 573-874-9390. Here's another one. Listen to this one. This is another leftist TikToker.
I can't stop thinking about how grass lawns are racist and based in white supremacy. If that doesn't make sense, that's okay, I guess. It seems really obvious to me. It's really upsetting. Bring back weeds. Bring back clover yards. Look, can anything just be okay in its natural state, or do we just have to whitewash everything, make it a competition, and use it as a sign of your worth as a human being in society?
So I was overseeding my lawn the other day and killing some clover that's invading. I like clover for my deer at the farm. I don't like it in my lawn right now. And I'm trying to get rid of the dandelions. Not doing a good job. According to this leftist TikToker, having grass lawn is, quote, racist and based in white supremacy. I don't think this is a spoof, Stephanie. Do you think that's a spoof?
No, I think she's being serious.
I don't know. She has to be trolling. She has to.
Now,
be.
This person, if it's true, this person votes and cancels one of your votes, or my vote, or one of our Wake Up Family's votes. How many people like this are canceling our votes because of the way they vote? Deranged, absolutely crazy thinking. So they go out and they vote, and they nullify your vote. Think about that. That's where we're at in America. Be back. Commentary. I'm Randy Tobler, along with Stephanie Bell, John Marsh, and Drake Whitman. Thanks for being part of our Wake Up family. If you'd like to call us with some fun on a Feel Good Friday, or if you want to say something serious, that's cool too. 800-529-5572. If you want to text us, 573-874-9390. I'm getting all kinds of help here on how to get oil stains. Stephanie, we're getting this on how to get oil stains off of clothes.
Okay, good luck.
Dawn dish detergent. Cornstarch. Interesting stuff. Brake cleaner, I think. I don't know. He said maybe that would work. It might. That orange stuff, Goop, you know, that orange stuff that you can use, got a little grit in it. What's that called?
Probably wouldn't be too good on a silk tie.
No, not on a silk tie. No, not good.
Have you tried blinker fluid yet?
No, maybe I should. So, Stephanie, in the category of interesting sophomoric stories, Stephanie sent this to Randy, John, and Drake. I don't know if there was a message there, but
I mean, Drake needs some extra cash.
You found
Here's
this
one way to get it.
If you're looking for cash, I mean, cash is short these days. You could enroll in a study, Stephanie, that would, I guess, they're working on a vaccine. That this vaccine is not against measles, not against tetanus, not against COVID, not against influenza, but enterotoxigenic E. coli, ETEC, it's called. Those are the ones that give you the bad food poisoning. Or Shigella, which is a wicked, like bloody diarrhea thing. So here's this deal. All you have to do is get online, and Johns Hopkins would like to pay you $5,100 for a study. What do you think? Are you in, Drake?
No.
Outpatient, inpatient oral vaccine study, CIR 365.
It kills 600,000 people a year. So this is a really important study.
It's a serious disease. So you can get to prevent diarrheal illness called by Shigella or ETEC, enterotoxigenic E. coli, that cause traveler's diarrhea. If you're between the ages of 18 and 50. John, are you? I don't know if you're eligible for that one.
Oh, well.
Yeah, shucks.
Maybe on my 18th birthday, right?
So I don't know what I would want to know before I enroll in this is, does this qualify you to get a definite exposure to said bacteria, or is it just to see?
Boy, if you've ever played the Montezuma's Revenge before, $5,100 is no bargain.
No.
That's the question folks were raising on Twitter: is how much money would they have to pay you to go to the hospital and have diarrhea for 10 days?
573-874-9390.
Is $5,100 enough?
Not even close.
That's my thought, John. It'd have to be like $50,000.
But this would be a good one for you if the only requirement is you live your life.
I mean, if you need to lose some weight really fast.
No, but I don't know because it goes on for a year. I'm wondering if this is just a real life study.
So you have diarrhea for a year?
No. A study that will take 10,000 people, regular people of all types and sizes and shapes and ethnicities and demographics, and they don't get a vaccine. Another 10,000 or 50,000, whatever they're going to enroll, give them the vaccine, and then let them live their lives for a year, whether they travel or not, and not expose them necessarily, but through natural, normal course of life exposure, traveling to Cancun, going to whatever, not.
I think we can save them a lot of money, and I think they just follow you around with a camera for a year based on your diet. I think you get exposed to a lot of stuff.
I'd enroll in this study in a heartbeat if all it is take the vaccine and live your life and see if you get sick, right? Or not.
I don't think that's what they're planning.
I'd do this in a heartbeat. I mean, if all you're doing is exposing yourself to a vaccine, whatever. Bring it on. It's exercise for my immune system. I'm good for it. No? Drake, you're shaking your head, no?
Yeah, there's no way I would ever do that.
But are you maybe assuming that they're going to give you the vaccine and then 3 months later give you, have you eat some known toxigenic E. coli or Shigella? Yeah. I don't think that's the way this study's going to be run.
I know.
Street taco in Ensenada, right?
Yeah. No. Even if they're like, all right, give you a jab, See what happens in a year. Still no. I think my life's worth more than like $5,000.
This person said $21.25 an hour for 24/10 diarrhea with no overtime. Not good enough. Not good enough.
One of our listeners says hemochromatosis, which is iron overload. You absorb iron too readily and you don't get rid of it. And you have to be bled once in a while to stay out of trouble, liver trouble and heart trouble and other trouble. A listener says, Randy, with hemochromatosis, I may consider that vaccine. A little loose activity wouldn't be that bad. A little bloody diarrhea.
Gross. No, thank you.
All righty.
Here's Matt. Matt, would you enroll in the study of a vaccine to see if it would protect you from diarrheal illness?
I would say no, but 2 points here. First of all, I do have hemochromatosis, and I had bloodletting. They took a pint of blood out of me every week for a year.
Yep.
Just to get my count down. But anyways, my point, though, about the studies is I do a study about once every 2 months because you have to do the study, then you have to wait 30 days to clean out your system. I don't know if you can say this online, but there's a website called studyscavenger.com, and that's what I use. And I just got done doing a 21-day synthetic cocaine study that paid $21,000 for me to sit in a hospital room for 18 days and do synthetic cocaine once every 2 days.
I do it for free.
I mean,
how did it work out for you? How did it work out for you, man?
It was great. It was really good stuff. It was almost like, pure cocaine, but it was synthetic. And 3 months before that, all I did was sit in a hospital room for 14 days. You stay there. You live there for 14 days, 3 meals a day, workout center, everything else. And all I did was smoke a vape pen. I smoked a vape pen 3 times a day, and they take 6 vials of blood out of you every day, and that paid almost $12,000 just
Holy
to smoke
cow.
a vape pen.
What a novel career you have. You're a professional study participant.
There's some of us that actually do this, yes.
Wow.
There's one guy that makes about $150,000 a year, and he only works maybe 4 months out of the year. I made $63,000 last year and only did 4 studies.
Holy
and
cow.
I might have worked 2.5 months.
I didn't know this was a thing.
Huh. Yeah. The studyscavenger.com shows you every single study in the nation, anywhere between $1,500 all the way up to $45,000.
Studyscavenger.com. All right. Hey, thanks for that, Matt. Good luck. Well, and again, I got to ask you one other question now. This may be revealing, but having done the fake cocaine study, is that something that you are worried you might become addicted to then because it was a pleasant experience?
No. A, it's kind of illegal, and B, it's hard to find, and C, it costs too much, so I just got paid to do it.
Yeah. Okay, good. All right. Well, it doesn't keep a lot of people from using it because it's illegal. That's all I'm asking. But
$21,000 to do it, I was kind of happy.
Under legal circumstances, yeah. Hey, that's good
correct.
for you. Hey, thanks for sharing that, Matt. Great news. That's good. Well, Matt certainly did feel good for 21 days.
That sounds like
real good.
Can you imagine getting paid to do cocaine?
No, I can't.
Now, the ear, nose, and throat people back in the day used cocaine in the nose to help, constrict the blood vessels and stuff when they were doing surgery.
Yeah, like the original Coca-Cola.
Yeah. Yeah. You remember that, right, John? Tell us, how was that? How'd that work out for you?
Well, they changed the darn formula on me, and the rest is, I blame Jake Vogel.
Okay, and we had the obligate skeptic. John says, did we not learn from the last vaccine? Bum, bum, bum. I don't know if this is an mRNA vaccine or not. I doubt it if it's an oral vaccine. Those would not be, I don't think the mRNA would survive very well. We have to look. All right, so it looks like no one here in Wake Up Land is going to get into that, prevent the diarrhea with the vaccine study. I don't know.
Or even some of those other studies that the listener talked about.
Yeah.
It sounds pretty lucrative, though, doesn't it?
Boy, what did he say? How many $1,000?
He said he knew somebody who made 150 and he made like 60.
Yeah.
Crazy. Studyscavenger.com. Wow. Have to look at that.
That's what I always think about these reality TV shows. They're like, at the very end, like Survivor, like haven't they been giving away $1 million now? They're on season 50 for like 25 years. Like $1 million doesn't go as far as it did 25 years ago. And I'm thinking you have to like train for it. You live in a jungle for a month, and then maybe you win $1 million. Like that math isn't mathing for me.
No.
It'd have to be a lot more.
Here's one in Salt Lake City.
Well, you have to eat Jell-O 3 meals a day?
Up to $11,000, 8 weeks. Healthy men and women, non-smokers, 18 to 65, BMI 18.5 to 32. Women must not be of childbearing potential. This is interesting. StudyScavenger.com. Thank you for that, Matt. Good news. Good feel-good news on this Friday. John, what are we going to feel good about or not when we come back?
For you, Doctor, who's your daddy? No, really, who is your daddy?
Okay, we'll talk. Oh, boy. John comes back with his segment right after this.
It's Wake Up Missouri.
Except for this.
A woman and one of a pair of identical twins have taken their paternity case to the High Court of Appeal in London. The unnamed woman allegedly had sex with both twins 4 days apart and became pregnant. When the baby was born, one of the twins was named as the dad and the other twin objected. But family court declined to change the father's name on the birth certificate, but scientists testified that DNA tests could not distinguish between the two identical twins. Case is ongoing, but the judge, Sir Andrew McFarlane, said the twin listed on the birth certificate would have no parental responsibility until the case is resolved. The woman, for her part, said, "The baby looks just like Dad." Well, really? Imagine that, huh? I don't know. There you go.
So
the Brits.
So she has relations with identical twins.
Yep.
And has a baby. And what, both of them are claiming paternity, or one of them's
Well,
not?
one of them is on the birth certificate and the other one objected. So what do you do?
I would think you could go back and, well, if you could get sworn testimony from her as to when the said intimacy happened.
How does she know? They're identical twins.
Yeah, it could have been just the one guy, you know?
Yeah, but they have different names, right?
Yeah, but she doesn't know that.
Well, she planned it, though, so she would know that.
Well, you don't know. Something might have got switched to the little switcheroo. You never know.
Yeah, never know.
This seems like a bad plan from
It
the
does,
get-go.
doesn't it?
Yes.
My mother was an identical twin and talked about having her identical twin sister take all her math tests for her.
This is a less funny than that, John. My grandma, she has an identical twin, and apparently they used to get each other in trouble in school. Like, one of them sat in the other's seat and, like, got some chalk and stomped it on the floor and then moved seats, and the other one got blamed. It's always fun.
Exactly.
I would think you might be able to.
Randy's still stuck on the science.
They might be able to do some elegant epigenetic study to figure out if there's maybe some minor differences genetically. I don't know.
And I don't know if even how many days apart were the relations. I mean, I feel
4
like,
days.
Yeah, I feel like baby dating is always kind of like pseudoscience.
Yeah, no. If you do it within 6 weeks, you're probably you're within 5 days.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Actually, maybe a little better than that.
Honestly, I think the victim here is the woman. If she got juked and didn't know who it was that, the baby is and who did what and where, that's got to feel pretty bad. Like, you don't even know who the guy is. You think it's the other guy. This is just really confusing to me. I don't know. I could not stand twins.
Maybe on her part, she wasn't even sure it was hers.
This would be BOLO. Buy one, let one off.
There you go.
I don't know. I wonder if those guys have a preference for this, right?
Which one gets named?
Yeah.
I mean, someone's on the hook for the money. Usually they're trying to get out of it.
That's what I'm thinking. They'd be wanting to get out of it, right?
One of the twins was named as the father. The other twin objected.
And she names that. The mom makes that call, right? Isn't that the way it usually
You can
is?
just name somebody and they put them on your birth certificate.
Well, you can name. Yeah, you can name someone, and then of course it becomes
Mark Cuban.
It becomes into a dispute.
Elon
Justin
Musk.
Bieber.
Yeah. I don't think that's how that works.
Well, just because you name it doesn't mean that's the way it ends up. But I've seen those cases where they name it and then dad objects, or another dad objects, or another would-be dad objects.
It wouldn't be another dad; it'd be actual dad. That's the problem. There's not two dads.
But that's it. Sometimes you could imagine circumstances where that may be tough to tell.
Sure.
Like now, yeah.
But that's only when it comes into identical twins. But in any normal situation, the vast majority of the time,
What if the offspring
DNA
had
testing
been,
figures that out?
What if the offspring would have been fraternal twins?
Whoa.
Then what do you do?
Yeah,
each takes one.
Yeah, there you go. It's like yours is this one and yours is
there you
that
go.
one.
Yeah, that solves the problem.
There you go.
I don't know that it solves the problem.
No, I think we got it nailed down. If she has twins, is there any possibility that one of them is Like one of the fathers is that one and the other father is the other. Is there any chance of that?
That's happened
Well, if they were
before, right?
identical twins, it could have been just one guy, right?
There you go.
Those darn Brits.
Yeah, I think that's the moral of the story.
Chris says, and I thought only guys had that fantasy about twins.
Oh, my gosh. It's too early for that.
There you go.
Well, it is Feel Good Friday, and remember, winners and losers come up in about 35 minutes, a little
You
more.
might be in the running.
And so we've got some nominations coming in, 573-874-9390. Sounds like even Maury Povich couldn't solve the twin problem.
Jerry.
Oh, man, this is hilarious. All right. Hey, when we come back, we're going to talk to Evan Brown, get caught up on what's going on in Iran. And he's been reporting on Artemis, too, so we'll try to cover both those things. Stay tuned.
traveling further than any manned rocket has ever flown and will very substantially pass the moon, go around it, and come back home.
The Zimmer News Team.
But also it's something Americans can rally around with confidence.
And now introducing your host, Randy Tobler.
and represent the president properly and make the right deals. And it's also an interesting way for the president to highlight the vice president in a way that quite frankly, I don't think he's done before. In a lot of these international dealings, we've not seen much of Vice President Vance. We've seen a heck of a lot of Secretary of State Rubio, and he's sort of been the rock star in a lot of this. I think second only, or second to him might be Secretary of War Pete Hegseth. But the vice president has been largely not front and center. That doesn't mean he's not doing anything. It's just he hasn't been in the spotlight. And I think that perhaps this is designed in some way. Obviously, the president wants him to get his job done, but it is a way to kind of give him some of that spotlight too and highlight his abilities.
Yeah, a spotlight on a very heavy lift. And we thank you for your heavy lift in all your great reporting, Eben Brown. Thank you for being with us. Have a fabulous weekend.
You too. Take care.
All right. So I think that this is a fascinating deal. Now, I think it was the New York Slime that was reporting about the genesis of the war and the advice that the president was getting. And J.D. Vance was allegedly one of the people, according to inside sources, of course, anonymous sources, that was not in favor of this. And that would be consistent with Vance's stated, worldview, right, in the campaign season. And so I'm wondering if he's giving him this tough job, just maybe it's a little bit of showing JD that, hey, these people need to be tamed in ultimately a much more militaristic way and take it out. They're not going to negotiate. When they've already accused us, Stephanie, of breaching the compromise, the ceasefire terms, because we said they're not going to get nuclear weapons and they need to open the Straits of Hormuz and they need to separate from all their proxy involvement. It sounds like it's a non-starter. What is there to negotiate? Nothing's changed.
I agree. I mean,
why would you ask Vance to somehow turn that around?
Well, and the fact that, both sides are pretty dug in. No one seems willing to give, and even the premise of the entire ceasefire seems to be a misunderstanding.
Yeah.
So, how is? I guess it's dialed back a little bit, but how are we really in any different situation today than we were a week ago?
And on top of that, the few ships that are trickling through there, was it like 8 or 12? It's very few.
Yeah.
Have been, they're charging them, right? And Trump's going, what? I don't understand why this lull in Trump's decisive, forward-moving, put an end to all of the, their proxy involvement, their direct attacks, their attacks on the neighbors, their nuclear enrichment.
Maybe we're just waiting because we can't drop a nuke if we've got people that are coming back from space today. So we're waiting till tomorrow, right?
Maybe it's just about giving our chances to get a second breath. Maybe that's really what it's about. More than one analyst has said that. It's like, well, there's this pretense of a ceasefire and giving them another chance, but maybe it's giving us a chance to
get prepared.
Yeah. Well, when you think about, I don't know anything about these war-fighting machines, but
you have to plug them in.
Well, the thing is, they're probably not like solid-state iPhones where you can drop them and whatever, and they even now put them in water. But probably the same with Samsung. They're highly precision, technologically complex instruments and weapons and machinery with lots of moving parts and as much activity as they've seen. Maybe it's just the realistic thing is, hey, we got to do some maintenance. We got to change the oil, new filters, check the gaskets, check the tie rod ends.
Well, they say like some things you put into AI. Like most of us ask AI like a Googleable question and it pops an answer out really quickly. Sometimes, you're asking it to analyze data and they say, the AI process takes days or, a few hours. And what we know is they've been implementing AI in a lot of this new technology. So maybe there's some processing that has to happen before we unleash a new fury.
Didn't think about that.
Well, I know some of the analysts, the retired military analysts that they've talked to say when they were asked, well, what will it take for the U.S. to open the Strait of Hormuz? And I know they said, well, we have the technology and the weaponry, but it's not something that'll happen, bang in one day and it's back open again with the The Iranians with what they talk about with their asymmetric threats, with their drone boats and swarms of drones and ship-to-shore anti-shipping missiles and all that. So
I just keep thinking, it keeps echoing in my mind what I heard the one analyst say, and that is, Germany didn't learn their lesson in World War I, and they came back in World War II, and there's no way that Iran is even close to learning the lesson that you just got to stop FA and around. And
they've had almost 50 years to plan and build up their military and all their secure facilities. So they're still in it.
Yeah. Well, the market, Stephanie's had, after being bruised up with some tough market reports, Stephanie's still standing and has been coming back with a little, new life this week. Things have been looking better in the market. So we'll see if Stephanie's market report is bruising us all or if it's a glass of champagne. We will see when we come back on the Morning Bell.
It's Wake
There's the morning bell. Some big Friday news, Stephanie.
Something to feel good about this morning. The markets closed up yesterday with the Dow up 0.58%, the S&P up 0.62%, the NASDAQ up 0.83%. As we look at the sectors, the biggest gainers were industrials and consumer discretionary, while energy had a pretty bad day. We are getting new inflation numbers out this morning, and the markets are actually responding positively. Although the news isn't super great, it did match expectations. Inflation rose to 3.3% in March year over year. That's up from 2.4% in February and the highest level in 2 years. But again, this matched the economists' expectations, which means that that's what they're always kind of benchmarking against, right? What did we expect? Was it better or worse? Core inflation, which excludes food and energy, came in at 2.6%. That's actually slightly below the forecast. And of course, as expected, energy prices were the main driver in this inflation news. It's up 12.5% year over year. Gas surged 18.9%. Fuel oil jumped 44.2%. Transportation costs are on the rise at 4%. So it's expected that the war will continue to affect these numbers, but this is kind of our first look at what it might mean for us.
Yeah, I mean, I think that headline number really belies the fact that the core number was actually very nice. Mm-hmm. The basic things that aren't so volatile, like, food and energy. So that's good.
Lower than expectations. All right. And yeah. I think I would be disowned from my family if I didn't mention it's the Masters. Who's watching golf? I can't get into watching golf on TV, but my family is glued to it. They love it. And it is big business. I actually have a friend who volunteered in the merch store, and they said it's insane. I guess that's like a good way to get to see it, is that you can volunteer to work in the merch store. The Masters will do $70 million in merchandise sales this week. That's $10 million per day when you break that down. $16,000 per minute, $277 a second. There's no online sales. In order to get the Masters merch, you have to go to the Masters and go to the merch store. And just to put this in perspective, that's $25 million more in merchandise sales than the Atlanta Braves did all of last year in just 1 week.
Holy cow.
Well, you point out the Atlanta Braves.
It is the Braves.
Yeah.
Well, that's a lot of money, $70 million in 1 week. All right, the other exciting Masters news is Bryson DeChambeau, who had a bad day, I guess, yesterday. I think he had a triple bogey. He was trying to hit it out of a bunker and had a rough go. But he has the nickname the Mad Scientist because he's constantly tinkering with things. He's very popular on social media. But he has 3D printed a 5-iron that he is debuting at the Masters. I didn't even know you could do this. He apparently tinkers all the time and says it's just like part of his nature. He's got some other clubs which he said basically have a bubble on the end of the club to make the head a little weightier. And it brings me back to, and so folks are kind of wondering, like, at what point do you get an advantage? Because remember who was using the bats with
a little insert.
Yeah. And then like the powers that be start getting involved. We've talked about it with running shoes before. But, I think this is interesting because you kind of think, we've been playing golf forever, right? Like you swing a metal stick at a ball and, hit it hard enough and get lucky.
Wooden stick back in the day.
There you go. But the fact that he is really into the science and trying to perfect his game using a 3D printer is pretty cool.
Did you see the story on Mark Calcavecchia?
I didn't.
The way back, I think he won the British Open 20 years ago or whatever. He got thrown out of the Masters off the property for using his cell phone.
What?
Really?
They have a strict policy. Yeah. You can't use them at all for anything. And they grabbed him and escorted him to the boundaries of the club.
So how did the course attendants and people running the show communicate? Do they use a walkie-talkie? Probably.
Yeah, I'm sure they've got their own communication system set up. But even not only the spectators, ASU, the Arizona State coach last year got thrown out because he ducked on to say hi to one of his former student golfers, and he had shorts on. They threw him out.
We were talking about dress codes at restaurants. Well, some places dress codes still matter, huh? Holy cow, I didn't know you couldn't have a phone there at the master. Well, I guess so. That could be distracting if it goes off at the wrong time. Winners and losers coming up, 573-874-9390.
Has America been
It's time for Winners and Losers on Wake Up Missouri. Every Friday about this time. Looks like the weather isn't a winner right now. I don't know. It's going to be a little bit yucky for a little while. I don't know. When's it going to clear up? John?
They were just saying rain for this morning and then storms to redevelop tomorrow later.
Okay, so there might be some time to do stuff and get out a little bit. What do you have, Stephanie?
Well, for winners, I have Jared Isaacman. He is the NASA administrator, and we learned yesterday he personally spent his own money to buy hundreds of pizzas for the mission control team who is supporting Artemis 2. Of course, we are patiently awaiting them to splash down today, but apparently he is refusing to use tax dollars to support his role as administrator and wanted to reward the people who have been hard at work over the last several weeks.
Houston, cool. Integrity, we are waving at you out of window 2. It's a beautiful blue little crescent out there.
So that was from the spacecraft to Houston Integrity, which is the ground crew there. And boy, those people are all winners, aren't they?
Yes.
I mean, certainly he is a winner. Apparently he doesn't even fly government jets for official business. He buys the pizza out of his own bucks, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's nice. Wow.
I like it. Also, my loser for the week, and maybe she's a winner. I don't know. I mean, it feels like winning when she opens her mouth for Republicans, but Jennifer Newsom has been all over Twitter the last week saying really ridiculous things. And so she's...
I had to be very raw when we interviewed the young men who were juvenile offenders in San Quentin. I told them about my own loss where... I lost my older sister a few days before my 7th birthday, and I blame myself for her death. And I share that because that they ultimately were accused of committing these violent crimes and sentenced for life. And I think it shocked them that this, blonde lady who was...
Oh, boy. Loser, definitely loser. Yeah. John, what do you have on your winners and losers?
Well, let's see. I've got a bunch of winners, a loser, and a bunch more winners. So Holt Summit firefighters upgraded their trucks. The voters in Holt Summit passed a $8 million no tax increase bond issue on the ballot the other day. New fire trucks for the folks in Holt Summit. Scam artists in Fulton having their rounds. They put up a QR code scam. And they tell you to scan the QR code to pay your outstanding tickets, and police folks in Fulton say ignore it, it's just a scam. And our big group of winners, the U.S. military with our combat search and rescue operation, everybody from the Air Force PJs to the Navy SEALs who rescued the F-15 crew.
Yeah, definitely. Boy, a lot of unsung heroes there. Well, sung, but I mean not really widely. They'll never be individually given a bronze medal or that kind of stuff, right? They're just doing their job.
Well, I'm sure there would be some medals handed out in that whole deal.
Yeah,
you can bet on it.
You have to be injured, or just
Purple Heart.
That's Purple Heart. What's the bronze medal is for meritorious, right?
Bronze Star, yeah.
Bronze Star.
It can be attached with a combat device, V
then
device.
They'll be handing out a lot of them. Yeah. Yep. And they deserve it. Man, I tell you, that was how many aircraft did they send out? You think about the legions of people, not just the people flying the mission, the people planning it, the people, fueling, the people maintaining, getting things ready. It just takes an army of people to do that. It's amazing. And I think there was some collaboration between the branches too, wasn't there, John? In that effort as well?
Yeah. That's the way they do the game. I mean, the Air Force obviously has the lion's share of that because that's what they do. They're combat search and rescue, but the SEALs were involved in the whole 9 yards.
Very good. Very, very good. We had, checking the text line here, we had we want to give Paul's son, who got an award he got a nomination for an Emmy Award for a documentary. One of our listeners there. That's very, very good. Drake, what do you have?
All right, I'm still trying to figure out all the details of it, but I'm just going to say sports. The Cardinals are 6th in our league, which is awesome. Cardinals are 7-5. Somehow the Cincinnati Reds, they're actually doing well. John, I don't know if you saw that coming because I definitely didn't. NHL, the Blues are looking to actually tank now, hopefully. Thank God, because we really need to. And the NBA, I know that we don't have a team here. I know no one cares. But the most exciting time in sports is playoffs, and the NBA playoffs start next week. So we get to wrap up with like 2 or 3 more games until Sunday, and then we go into the playoffs. And it's so exciting. I think it's one of the highest rated sporting events, like with TV ratings.
I'll tell you what, man, the Thunder is hot this year in the NBA.
I got my money on the Pistons. I got to go for Detroit. And am I allowed to self-nominate? Is that allowed here?
But why not?
Okay. Because
nobody else is going to nominate you.
Yeah,
Depends
I'm playing
on what you're nominating for yourself for, loser or winner.
I think winner. I don't know. To be determined for tomorrow night, because I have my first football game for the Columbia Vipers.
Oh, really?
Oh, wow.
Yeah, 7:00. It's at Westminster College.
Yeah.
If I don't see a single person from Wake Up, Missouri there, I'm going to be mad.
Who are you playing?
The Oklahoma Gators.
Yeah.
Wow.
And they're like, they're a really good team.
What position or positions do you play?
Safety.
There's some sweet irony there.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's a tough position to play, and
used to play safety.
Exactly, and I've heard Drake likes when those receivers go over the middle and try to catch the ball. He likes to make his presence known. But congrats!
Yeah. Ooh, hyping me up.
Operation Drake Hammer.
No, and I'm going to be a loser next week because I'm going to show everyone the clips of me either getting hit or me hitting other people like a little kid. It's going to be so ridiculous.
All right. Well, good luck, and I hope you stay intact. I'm always worried about injuries. Do you have fully padded? Everything good?
Yeah, full padded.
Yeah.
I bought a girdle yesterday. Those things are something.
What?
Yeah. Thigh pads and all of that.
LGBTQ G plus.
Yeah, girdled is the G in LGBTQ.
Hey, did
I always
you guys
wondered
hear
that?
Did you hear about Mizzou is going to be visited by a freshman from Kansas? Apparently, that they're courting for transfer.
I don't even want him.
What do you know about? Is this good player?
He's a good player. I don't know all about. I don't know everything that Andy would know, but I'm familiar with him enough that he's really good. It's a situation where they have a lot of depth at Kansas. I mean, again, people don't like to hear that, but they do. This guy could start on basically any other team, and I think the playing time and everything else.
Oh, I see. Opportunity,
but a great player from what I understand. Yeah. We'll see what happens, but it's very similar. We have a lot of people moving around. They don't stay in one school very often.
Mm-hmm. Okay, interesting. I didn't know. Yeah, if you're a really good player and you're with a bunch of other really good players, you may look to go to a place where they need a really good player. You get more time.
Mark Mitchell came from Duke, so I mean, I'm just worried because if this player played with Bill Self, I mean, I'm worried that he might have cheating in his blood and how he was trained. So I'm worried that culture might come over to Mizzou with him.
That's a valid thought.
Of course, Bill Self was interviewed for the Mizzou coaching job in 1999, and he did not get it. Calipari was also interviewed for that job. Kim Anderson,
he the Arkansas guy?
He is.
Yeah.
But they chose a man by the name of Quinn Snyder.
Oh, my goodness. Yeah, all righty then. Brian, winners and losers.
Don't have any losers this week. Got a couple of winners right now. Number one, Columbia Regional Airport. They have been basically aviation firm. Mead and Hunt, Randy says they are the fastest growing airport in the United States. So congratulations to them. I was at the Ready Board meeting. Matt Jenny, who owns Addison's and Sophia's, he predicted publicly in front of everybody at the meeting that they're going to have a record July, 30,000 people flying out of Columbia Regional. I mean, the numbers are just staggering. So congrats to them. And again, he would know. He's on the Airport Advisory Board. Second winner will be Shelter Insurance here in Columbia, mid-Missouri. Their fountains have been turned on. That's a real big deal to a lot of the elderly people, children, families that like to go see it. You really notice, if you see that, you know spring is here. I've got a picture of that up at 939theeagle.com. These are newer fountains. I talked to Rockney Corbin, their CEO. They replaced them maybe a year or two ago, but they look great. 939theeagle.com. You can see those. And last but not least, Randy, are men and women who are working on I-70, and I know they're in other areas as well, but I-70 obviously is the big focus with this bridge demolitions taking place tonight. They're doing a great job. I was out there again yesterday. I've been out all over mid-Missouri at their various scenes at the press conference, and they're going to be doing. They emphasized to everybody, please slow down. They said that people are driving 70 miles an hour plus in the work zones, inches and feet away from the workers in there. Please don't do that.
Can we say that there'll be a lot of losers over the weekend as that bridge is demolished?
Oh, the
right.
traffic.
I mean, and it's not in a bad way. It's
Sure.
just the reality. Long. What they say? At least hour delays, maybe.
At least, and they said they did this in another part of the state. I want to say Warrenton, and they've done it elsewhere. 45 minutes is what they've seen, but this is Columbia, and I know that
this is east of Columbia.
Yes.
On the east side, yeah.
Exactly.
We have to go to St. Louis Sunday, and I think we're going to go to Jefferson City and go up through Kingdom City.
Yes, you really would be better off going down to 50 and get up to Kingdom City through there. But yeah, expect delays for sure.
Yeah, that was a loser text from Frank. He said, anyone who drives through Columbia with the construction on I-70 is a loser. And I think that's true. It's been a real mess. And even down here with this grindstone exit being closed, it really adds a lot of time. But he says, winners, thank you to the Wake Up Missouri crew. Thanks for making my mornings better. And Brian's got his Masters merch on today.
and I wish I could play there, but yeah, I got this shirt is 19 years old. By the way, I want to add 19 years old, but it still fits. I had probably a few too many cheeseburgers at that time, but it still fits. Want to say publicly, Randy, Drake, Stephanie, all three of you have been nominated by the Missouri Broadcasters Association for best coverage of a program that involves your AI town hall. Congratulations. That's a really big deal.
Yeah.
And congratulations to you, chalking up several nominations.
Yeah.
And some horrible stories and some much more positive stories, too. But thank you. We'll all find out in June. June 6th, D-Day, we'll find out, which is when we'll find out.
Yeah. I think I found out this week that all of us are more losers than we think of when we deal with the IRS. Did you know that my daughter calls me and says she I guess to pay on unemployment tax or something because they became employees. My daughters, of the practice, and so
I have a CPA.
This employment tax. So she calls the IRS, or she gets in touch with the IRS, and they say you have to confirm who you are as part. And they said, what color truck does Randall Tobler drive?
Oh my God.
On the 2015 Ford.
Ugh.
And does Randall Tobler's brother live in? They know too much about you, ladies and gentlemen. You're all losers because the IRS knows too much about you. I'm telling you. This is frightening. The things that they know about me, what does that have to do with me paying my taxes?
The color of your truck?
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm not laughing. I just don't
understand
that.
Call me paranoid, but
really
I'm sorry.
is.
I mean, why does it matter? Why does the IRS have to know what color truck I have? They know that.
I'm not sure. Well, and also, I'm not sure why that's relevant to what she's trying to get help on. And it could be
in order to pay unemployment insurance, and we haven't had a claim.
Yeah,
you pay a forward, and then you got to pay exorbitant amounts. No claim. We'll be back.
It's Wake Up Missouri.
We're back on Wake Up Missouri. Thanks for being with us this weekend, every week. If you don't get a chance to hear the entire show, there's a lot of things that you may want to catch. We try to catch the highlights and put them on the podcast. That's out every day.
Total of 2 minutes, Randy.
The highlights. Thank you.
That's the highlights.
Yeah, thank you, Drake. Producer, Drake. Producers provide the content for the program. So when there's 2 minutes worth of highlights, I'm just saying. Right?
Can't put makeup on a pig.
Oh, we all throw in and contribute to that. Tonight, Artemis comes back. That last hour, John Marsh, is probably among the most critical and risky, right? I mean, I think it's like...
Yeah, re-entry.
Yeah, maybe like air flight, right? When you're on an airplane, it's the takeoff and the landing that are the toughest.
5,000 mile per hour re-entry, slowing them down when the chutes come out, down to 20 mile an hour landing in the Pacific off of San Diego.
Yeah. I missed some good news that happened yesterday. You know what yesterday was? It was the anniversary of the end of the Civil War.
Oh, interesting.
That's when Robert E. Lee and the Army of Northern Virginia surrendered to Grant.
We got some good news, well, maybe good news yesterday, depending on where you stand, but Kansas City leaders unveiled a proposal for a $1.9 billion downtown ballpark to keep the Royals. The stadium would be near Crown Center. The city would contribute up to $600 million, and then some money would be kicked in by the state, and the target opening date would be opening day 2030.
Isn't that $1 billion late and $1 billion short and a day late?
The Chiefs have already made an announcement that they're moving. This is the Royals.
This is the Royals. This is
Baseball.
Baseball been good to me. Very good to me.
What other Royals are there?
He was confused about the two.
I was confused.
Teams.
I'm confused about stadiums.
I mean, I bet our friends from the Show Me Institute think that was a bad announcement. You know, they're not for public funding for stadiums, but at least I think the mayor and others are saying this would bring lots of visitors to downtown and create some economic activity.
You know, if you're a municipal leader, if you think about it, what is the net income to the local businesses, the eateries, the delis, the merch people, the parking lot folks and everything, with what, 81 games at a minimum and maybe more throughout a year, right? If you're in the playoffs.
Fat chance, but yeah.
No, but I mean, think about it. You just have more revolving turnstile business when people circulating, right? So maybe that is a wiser, if you're going to invest, maybe that is the wiser investment if you're going to support the actual economy there, as opposed to a few big days during a football season. I don't know how that all works out economically. Maybe we ought to talk to David Stokes about that and see if financially, if there's at least a better argument in terms of economic stimulation from that kind of an investment, public investment. What do you think, John?
Yeah, I mean, well, they're talking, what is it, a $1.9 billion project and all? You got to figure hundreds of millions of dollars in revenue. You would hope.
Hey, well, y'all have if it's a little moist and a little wet, have a fabulous weekend. Look forward to saying hi again on Monday morning.
Bye.